what's the car gonna do? It's decided to go all the way left. And here you can see we're actually going into the middle of the road a little bit, so I'm not 100% sure. Whoa, I don't know what the car was thinking there of the seagulls. Welcome back everybody to Tesla Driver. I hope you're doing very well, and welcome back to our UK city tour. Today we're going to be going into Bath, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different, as you can obviously already see. It is nighttime, it is currently 3 AM, and we're going to be driving through the center of Bath at midnight, or at least very, very, very early in the morning. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is some people have said that I need to be able to keep autopilot running just a little bit longer just to see what it will do in some of the fringe situations. Well, that's exactly what this is going to allow me to do. So obviously there's hardly anybody on the road. I've hardly seen anybody, and this will allow the car to have pretty much free reign of this road. Now obviously it will be a bit darker, so you're gonna have to focus a little bit more and stuff, but it should be all right and it should be pretty clear. Now I'm sorry my voice is a little bit nasally. I've got a cold and a bit of a hay fever at the moment. Okay, what's the car gonna do here? No, it just follows that nicely. So I won't talk so much this time just because my throat is hurting a little bit. But let's see how it does going through the center of Bath here. I have got the sat nav on, as you can see, but I'm not specifically gonna follow it. It's just there so you guys can see the map on the screen as well. So we're gonna let the car do what it wants. If it goes into another lane, we'll follow that lane. If it goes a little bit wacky, we'll just let it go wacky for a little bit, because as you can see, there is nobody else on the roads. Now this is update 2019.20.4.2. I've not had too many issues with this one. The only issue that I have had, and it is the biggest issue, is that every now and then it randomly turns off completely without telling me. So that's what we're going to be looking out for today, to see if that has been sorted in this latest update, or whether we're still getting some random turn-offs on autopilot. But even through here where there's loads of lines, it's actually doing it really nicely, and we're just casually, slowly driving into the center of Bath. Now, one thing Bath does have is obviously a lot of traffic lights, and hopefully they're all going to be green for us. But if they're not, we're going to have to either get behind another car, or we're going to have to take over autopilot anytime we do get up to a red light with nobody else there, like this one coming up ahead. So it's picked the right-hand lane. We actually wanted to be in the left-hand lane, but the right-hand lane's fine. And you can see we've got cars coming. That's actually a Royal Mail truck. So I'm just gonna turn it off autopilot. Oh, I didn't actually have to. We could have kept it on. Look, it's still going green. So let's put autopilot back on here. I'm actually just gonna bring the speed down to 25. Okay, so it's broke really hard there. It braked really hard there for that car. And again, it's braking for this car here. As it's not in its space, it actually is going really slow, and I'm just gonna let it do what it wants here. But it has gone past him, okay? So it has gone past it, and it's navigated a roundabout there without any issues. Again, the roads are getting a little bit wide. And then a tighter left turn here. But again, because it's Bath, there are cars parked on the road, of course, and I'm gonna have to take control, and we're gonna have to go around these cars ourselves. Again, it's the same issues that we're having here in Bath that we seem to have around most cities, which is exactly this. Cars on the street is a little bit of a nightmare for the autopilot system to work around. Okay, here we go again. So I'm gonna bring it down to 25 here. And it's taken the right lane, so it is green light here, and I'm gonna have to pull it off because we've got an ambulance just done a U-turn in the road, but that's okay. Sorry, sometimes I will have to turn it off like that when there's an ambulance doing a U-turn in the road. I've got to make sure it's turned off. And here you can see we're actually going into the middle of the road a little bit, which isn't too much of a problem because we're missing the cars, but obviously we've got to pull it back in here. So there, when there was no lines on the road, that was a really big issue, and you could see that the car didn't like it at all. Again, here we're gonna have to go around these cars that aren't in bays. Now I'm intrigued to see how it works around these corners. Okay, it doesn't want to. Is it gonna turn on? Let's see what it does here. I'm gonna keep the speed really low just because this corner is very, very tight. Is it gonna make it? It made the corner all on its own. It's a little bit jumpy. Oh, and it's just turned off. Okay, turn that back on. So you can see where it's, yeah, look at that. See, so where it's got to do very sharp turns, it is not working at all. This is why I didn't want to do Bath in the day, because I do drive around Bath quite a bit, and I knew that it would have no hope going around this city, which is why I wanted to do it at 3 AM so that it could kind of do what it wants. So here you can see it's switched lanes. It's gone into the right-hand lane, and it's still in the right-hand lane, which is for us to turn right, and I want to go into this left-hand lane, so let's just go over to the left-hand lane instead and put autopilot back on. And now we're going to be going around kind of the outside area of Bath, which does have some better roads, so I'm hoping for a little bit more success around here. But as you can see, the wheel is going a little bit chaotic. This is working pretty well. We've got some seagulls on the road, but the car didn't have a problem with it. I do sometimes wonder if the car would stop for like a bird or a dog or something bigger on the road. So that's something I think we're gonna have to test out. Let's check no one's coming on this giveaway. Yeah, so you can see there, it just wasn't gonna turn and follow the road quick enough. So we had to take it off and do it ourselves there. Okay, is autopilot gonna work? When's autopilot gonna turn back on? There we go. Oh, no. Wow, okay, so these are really, as you can see, like really tight turns here. There's no way autopilot would have done any of these turns. Let's get around here. So we're just gonna go around the outside of Bath here. Just waiting for autopilot to want to turn back on though, because it's not saying it will turn back on yet. Still not, there we go. Oh, nope. There we go, okay, we're back on. So we're gonna be following this road straight here. Let's see what the car decides to do. Yeah, it's followed the road we want. And now we're kind of going back on ourselves around the outside part of Bath here, because what I want to do is go around the outside a little bit, and then I want to cut straight down the middle. So I want to go down the high street, if possible, on autopilot. So there's no lines here, so the car actually did that very well. It kept nice and straight throughout there. The lines disappear here as well a little bit, but it's holding on nicely. Is it going to get around these cars? Oh, a little bit of a hard brake there. But yeah, it went past the cars without a problem. And let's see what lane it picks. It's decided for the right-hand lane. Yeah, it's going to continue down this road. Now the road here is quite wide, but you can see that we've got parking spaces there that are slowly pushing the car over to the right-hand side. So it's seen the parking lines, and it's keeping us right because of those. And here we come up to a roundabout. So I'm just gonna bring it down to 20. There's no one on the roundabout, there's no one around it. What's the car gonna do? It's decided to go all the way left. Oh, I've just had to take it off there because it wasn't able to do it all itself. But that was very impressive. It went all the way left rather than going straight over because it followed the lines. That was actually very, very impressive for it to do that. Okay, we're gonna go left here then. And go through the middle of town. So there's no lines here, so I'm expecting it not to pick anything up. But let's just see. Hopefully it will do. Oh, there we go. For a split second it would. There we go. Okay, we're back on now. And again, we're up to a very weird roundabout here with no lines, no markings, but it's just gone straight across it without any problems. And now we're behind this car that's just parked with its hazards on. So we're gonna have to go around this ourselves. And let's see, is it gonna allow us to turn it back on? Not just yet. No, it's still not allowing us to, oh, no. It's been quite strict with autopilot down here, not wanting to turn on just yet. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be quite a test for it. This goes into like a one width road, and you can see that the barriers come in here. So let's see if it darts left. It needs to go left. Yeah, it's just missed it. It's fine. And now it's tracking the wrong side of the road, and we need to get over ourselves. So yeah, it went there correctly, but then because it was following the right-hand lane, it decided to stay on the right-hand side of the road, which obviously it's not meant to do. But down a road like this, where there's parking left and right, I guess you're meant to drive down the middle of it. But you can see the autopilot doesn't want to work, and we're braking for this BMW here. So I'm gonna have to take back control. That was the traffic aware cruise control that did that there, which just stopped us from hitting into that white BMW. I don't think we wouldn't have hit into it, to be totally honest. We would have been fine, but I think it just does it as a precaution. Okay, so we want to go left here. I want to go left, and okay, I wasn't going to go left, so I'll have to go left myself. I want to go left, and now we want to drive right down the middle of Bath. So I want to go down where the shops are and stuff. I'm not 100% sure how to get there, so we've got to figure that out through the sat-nav. Okay, you can see here it doesn't like that car, and I'm gonna have to pull it off and go around it. Let's go down here then, shall we? This looks interesting. You can see that it's slightly losing the lines in the right-hand side here, but it is following it okay. And this is the correct way. This is where we want to go. Now, what it does here is a right complete U-turn. So let's see if the car's actually going to do a U-turn on itself. I don't think it's going to be able to do this bit. No, it's definitely not. And I'm going to have to turn that myself. There was no way that the car was going to do that. You could see that it tried to, but like at the last second, it just decides to go straight rather than turning even harder. And I think that's something to do with the regulations, but if I'm being honest, I'm not 100% sure. Whoa, I don't know what the car was thinking there of the seagulls, but that made it go a little bit crazy, left, right, left, right. And again, because we're at a red light, I've got to do the stopping. So as you can see, Bath is not a great one for autopilot, and I think that was going to be quite obvious from the get-go. It's a very old city and there's lots of parking on the road, which again seems to be the issue. Now, only if they could sort that out. On a road like this, they could make this thinner and, you know, kind of bring the road over a little bit. But then would people have enough parking space around Bath? That is the problem. So I'm not sure, again, how they're going to sort that issue out. Okay, let's try this roundabout and see if it just follows the flow across it. No one coming. Yeah, so you can see there it changed lanes last second. Which lane's it going to pick here? It's picked the right-hand lane, which is fine. I actually want it to go on the left-hand lane anyway. So let's see if it will change lanes by itself. No, I'm going to have to take it over and do it myself there. There we go. We can put autopilot back on. And now cruise out of Bath. So this road, for example, here should have no one really parked on it. This shouldn't stop us at all. Now let's just see if that is the case going all the way out of Bath. So we've got a car here that you can see it did stop for, but then it carried on because it can see that the bays are there. I think maybe the bays just need better paint. So we're actually in the right-hand lane, but obviously we want to be in the left-hand lane. So let's see what the car does in this situation. Yeah, it wasn't going to change lanes. It was just continuing to go straight. So we have to take that off. The road goes super wide here, but it hugs the right-hand side and goes around these cars. Is it going to brake here? It might brake quite hard because of that car there. Yeah, that's exactly what it's done. It's broke very, very hard there. And now it's continued to drive. So there, again, because it couldn't see the lines, it couldn't define that it was going around that car, it broke very, very hard instead, which is a little bit of a nuisance. I'm expecting as we get down here for the car to ping pong a little bit. It might even hook us left quite harsh here. Oh no, that wasn't too bad. Sometimes when the left line goes very like curvy left, it can have kind of some big issues, but that was fine. And as you can see, coming out of Bath, it's not been as big an issue as driving through Bath. So again, it worked well in some situations. It surprised us as well by following certain lines we didn't expect it, but it always comes down to cars parked around the city, and that seems to be the issue. Let's just see what it does here. It might follow, because this is a laned roundabout, it might follow the lanes. Now there's no one actually coming on the roundabout, so what's the car gonna do? It nearly took us all the way around, but I think it got a little bit confused in the last second about what lane to pick, and it was gonna take us off ramp instead. Okay, and we're going down here. I'm not sure why it's going so slowly. There we go, bring it back up to 50. And out of Bath. So yeah, the cars need sorting, the lanes need sorting. It's the same old thing, if I'm being totally honest. No crashes from Autopilot, and I did find it was a little bit more sensitive today with other cars parked on the road, so maybe that's something that could be updated. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, don't forget, drive safe.